Liz Arnold is a painter who studied at Middlesex and then at Goldsmiths. She sadly had a very short career. She died in 2001 and she was 36. But she's actually shown at Camden Arts Centre before, because Mythic Heaven, which is this painting here, and the lovely creature in her bra and knickers were shown in a new Contemporaries here in, I think, 1996 or 7. It was one selected by Mark Wallinger, Rachel Whiteread and Richard Schoen. And this image became very iconic, I think, of that new Contemporaries, and it's actually owned by Charles Saatchi. Liz was someone who trained as a painter and was very deeply involved with the idea of painting. She builds up again her own little worlds, and when you start to look at it, there's all these layers of, it's almost like grass and then these twigs, but then they've got little hearts on them, and then the ladybirds. And then you see these ladybirds in other paintings as you go around. So it's like this world, this painting then becomes lots of other aspects you'll see in the paintings later. But from these almost just decorative surfaces, she started to work much more with narrative. But it's quite again, an ambiguous narrative, because you're never quite sure what story she's telling. They could almost be like abstract paintings till you really start to look at them and see that they're built up almost like little petals. They're fabulous. Like little sweeties. And she was very interested she looked at things like video games, which were quite new then, but there was a whole new language that was used in video games with the graphics and that strange creatures in funny worlds that you could manipulate and move around. And she I think started to use fluorescent paint, thinking about this almost like polluted world of science fiction-y. And there's another painting to this where there's a creature wearing these shoes, but she's disappeared in this painting. We don't know where she's gone. and these things that are very much set within the urban landscape. And she lived in Hackney, and this painting in the middle is Vicky Park. And I just think this whole wall and the painting there really feels like London. It feels like East London, I think. We recognise those people. We know them. It's very strange with Liz. It's been very difficult to track her work down. They seem to be all over the world, and nobody quite knows what things are called and where they are. But he said one of them was owned by Gavin Turk, and he said last night that when he was coming to see the show, he kept thinking, I wonder what it'd be like seeing a lot of Liz's work together. Is it going to make it look like, will it answer all the questions? Will it sort of suddenly reveal what it's about? And he said he was so pleased when he came here and it looked just as mad and unfathomable as ever, and he still didn't know what it was really about, but just knew that he loved it. So, and that's a bit how I feel about it. It's kind of impossible to talk about in a way, because the story does have its own the work does have its own story and narrative that I think really engages you when you look at it. The file notes written, the whole show was really brought together by a group of 4 of her friends, and the file note essay, which you should read, is actually very good, written by an artist called Richard Kerwin. It does talk about her work from the point of view of another painter, which is very nice, actually. And then another one of her friends, Dan Sturgis, you might know as a painter. He worked with me on the installation of the show. So it's very much a painter's show, I think, in that sense.